Hey you guys, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. My name is Kela Trishaan and I make videos on lifestyle, womanhood, and mental health. So if those are some things that interest you, please feel free to click on the subscribe button below and be sure to turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Okay, so last week I started a story time series on my channel because, as I was saying, I have a lot of different situations that I've gone through in my history of work that I think are either scary, funny, combination of the two, whatever. So today I want to do another story time. It's going to also be about a time at the bank. This one is more like just crazy, but it was basically about the time when I got fired and then rehired. So if you like story times and you like to hear about situations like these, please stay tuned. Okay, so let me start off by saying I was in college at this particular time and I was just starting college and I didn't have a car. So my mom was picking me up from work. I would catch the bus there and then she would come get me after. So let me just start off by saying that. All right, so this particular day, I was really sick. I went to school and didn't feel well, so I ended up just catching the bus home. But my job really needed me because we were shorthanded. We were kind of like between employees, and so I was pretty much like one of a few. So my boss called me and pretty much asked if I could come in, and I told him I was sick, but it was kind of like we don't really have any other choice. So I basically came in with what I think now was the flu. So I come in and again, I'm starting off the day not feeling well, but whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be working a few hours and then we'll be done. So part of being a teller at a bank is to balance out your cash drawer at the end of every day. There is a certain allowance for small amounts of money being out of balance. Just simple mistakes can happen throughout the day. A lot of times it's an error in calculation on the computer, but sometimes you may have given out too much, you may have not given enough, all kind of different things can happen. So I was balancing my drawer and I was pretty good at making sure that my drawer was in balance to a T. This particular night though, okay. So I'm balancing out my cash drawer at the end of the day and it was taking me a little bit longer because I wasn't feeling well, but I was also kind of on a time crunch because my mom was sitting in the parking lot waiting for me to come outside. So I'm counting through everything, and when I go to check and see if I'm in balance, I am out of balance, $1,000. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a huge amount of money to be out of balance. There's no way that this could be like the truth. Maybe I just missed something because I don't feel good. Let me count again. So I counted my drawer again like 3 to 4 times and still was not in balance. So everybody else had balanced their cash drawer, they were ready to go, and my supervisor noticed that I was having some trouble. So she walks over to me and she's like, hey, like, what's going on? Everything okay? And I'm kind of at this point a little nervous, and I'm like, I'm out of balance $1,000. And she's like, okay. So she was about to help me count my drawer, but my assistant manager came over instead because she had some stuff she needed to do. So he came over and he counted my drawer. Now this is key. When you're out of balance that much money, your manager or whoever counts your drawer is supposed to piece count your money. What that means is instead of using the cash machine to count it, which only counts the number of bills and not the type of bill, they're supposed to actually physically go through your cash and count it to make sure that all of the bills are correct, make sure that there's no errors there. So my manager, he runs the bills through the machine and he comes up with the same number I did. I was still out of balance $1,000. So in situations like this, they will try to fix it. But if they can't fix it, then, they just kind of leave it for the next day. So that was basically what happened. And again, I'm pretty much over here about to pass out. So I go home, but I'm sick to my stomach because the history of people being out of balance that much money is that you lose your job. And I really wasn't in a position to not have a job. I had a lot of things going on in my personal life, so I needed my money. So I believe I took the next day off because, again, I was trying to, get well, but then I came back the day after. So when I came back the day after, they did not give me my cash drawer. My cash drawer was taken away, and they had also taken the key from me to my vault. So the only transactions I could do were straight deposits, things that didn't involve cash. So when that happens, that's usually a telltale sign that they are about to get rid of you. So I was so scared, and I was just like, oh my God, like I was really hoping for a miracle, but things just didn't look good. So it was a few days of me just simply taking non-cash transactions. And during this time, my cash that I had in my drawer just sat in the vault. Remember this. So one day I'm, at my line, and I had just helped a customer, and then the manager of the bank comes over and he says,
"Hey, I need you to come over to my desk."
So I was thinking, oh, this is it. I'm about to get fired. So what he does is he brings me over, and there's a lady in his office, and she is from loss prevention. So I guess they are also psychiatrists or psychologists, whatever. But they brought her in to speak to me because the first thing they think is, okay, did you take the money? So I go in the room with her, and she's asking me like a series of questions. She's, she straight up asked me,
did you take the money? Are you having any hard times in life?
Just all kind of, questions, trying to like lead it back to, did you take it? So I'm like, no, I didn't take the money. No, I don't have anything going on in my life that my job can't pay for. And I was in there for a good like 30 to 45 minutes. So once she was done, she tells my manager basically that like she didn't see any signs that I was lying. And I guess that was that. So another day goes by, and then I walk into work, and I'm thinking like, okay, at this point I'm kind of getting comfortable because it's like, it's going on a week, but I'm getting comfortable. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe they won't fire me. Maybe there's like something else they can do. Like maybe it'll be something else. Maybe I'll get, a slap on the wrist, a big write-up. I don't know. So I walk in, and as soon as I walk in, my manager called me over to his desk, and he wouldn't even let me go in the back. So he called me over to his desk, and he, he seemed really sad, which was crazy. But he was like,
I'm so sorry, but like I know that, it was probably a mistake, but we don't know what happened, and I'm gonna have to let you go.
So I immediately like burst into tears, and I'm just like, it was the worst thing that could have happened at that point. I was just like, oh my God, it's like right before the holidays. I don't think I was getting financial aid again until like the next semester. So I'm like, crap. And then I wasn't like really saving money like that. I was super young. So I'm like, dang, I'm just about to be broke. Okay, so I just got to figure things out. So I called my best friend to come and pick me up at the time, and my coworkers were like super sad. Like I had built relationships with these people, so they were super sad. Everybody was hugging me and just kind of telling me it was gonna be okay, all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God. So pretty much the next couple of weeks, I was just going to school, and it sucked because the bus that I took, I had to pass my job. So it was like, it was so sad, me having to like just ride by, like the place I used to work. So whatever. The good thing is I have nosy coworkers, super nosy coworkers. So one of the girls called me, and she says, don't mind that in the background, that's my baby. But one of the girls calls me, and she's like,
hey Kela, what's going on?
I'm like, nothing. What's going on with you? She's like,
girl, something's going on because I heard your name being mentioned.
and I'm like, you heard my name? And
she was like, yeah, like low-key, I think they may have found the money.
I was like, what? And she was like,
I think they may have found the money.
I said, okay. So I started getting excited, but I didn't want to get my hopes up because, I got excited before about not losing my job, and here I was fired. So I went into the bank. After she told me this, I went into the bank, and I just did like a regular transaction. I just pulled out like $20, something I could have did at the ATM, but because she said that something may have happened, I was like, well, maybe if I go in, then somebody will say something to me. So I go in, stand in line like normal customers, and then my manager comes by, and he's like, hey Kela, how are you? Gives me a hug, like, how is everything? I'm like, oh, I'm good, whatever. And he says, is your number still the same? I only been gone for 2 weeks. Yeah, my number should have said. So he was like, okay. He said, I'm gonna call you. And I'm like, okay. So I get my little cash, my little $20, and I leave. So like maybe a day or two goes by, and then I get a call from him. So he explains to me the whole situation, and he says that he feels terrible. I was wrongfully terminated because my drawer was not piece counted. So the supervisor that was on duty, me and her were super close. And she was like, there's no way that she was out of balance that much money. There's no way. So she took it upon herself to go in my cash drawer and to piece count everything. So she went through all of the money. So what I did was I don't remember if it was 50s or if it was hundreds, but whatever it was, some larger bills had got entangled with some $20 bills. So I was counting the money as if it was 20s when in actuality, there were some hundreds mixed in there. So that's what threw everything off. And it was like my drawer balanced to a T. So he told me, you know, hey, I understand completely if you don't want to come back because this is just terrible. But if you would want to, we would love to have you back. Yes, I'm coming back. I ain't got another job and I need the money. So yeah, I'm coming back. So I was so happy. I'm telling my mom, telling my friends, all that good stuff. So everything's fine. I get back and I'm welcomed with open arms to everyone except for one person, the assistant manager that counted my drawer. So he is pissed. He is not like really talking to me. He kind of gave me like a really half-assed like, oh, welcome back, you know, whatever. So I didn't really pay like too much attention to it. I was just happy to have my job back. So they're in the process of giving me back my cash drawer, so I have to go back there with the manager to the vault to have my cash counted back to me and have my keys given to me. So they choose the assistant manager that counted the drawer incorrectly. So I go back there, and this fool, he's like,
You got rightfully terminated. You're lucky that you got your job back. You got fired for the right reason. You didn't balance your drawer.
I was like, oh, that's how you feel. Okay. I said, okay, cool. Now, normally I'm not a snitch, but you're not about to talk to me like that. And it's not much I can say to you because you are a manager. So I told the manager. And let's just say that that assistant manager got a nice big fat write-up and pretty much was told not to say anything else to me regarding the situation, or that was gonna be his job. So that's pretty much that on that. But basically, yeah, I got fired and then I got hired back. So it was a terrible situation, but it ended up being a really good situation. And it taught me a few things. One, if you are really sick and you know you can't be at work, don't come to work, even if they ask you to. And two, it just kind of taught me to just be a little more careful just in everything. So I'm just way more careful. I make sure that like when I'm looking for something, I really look and I really just kind of think outside the box. Because if I hadn't done that in the first place, then I wouldn't have been in that situation. But again, I just don't think I was thinking clearly. So I hope you enjoyed that random story time. Again, I do want to make this a regular thing on my channel. I've got plenty, so I'll be thinking of something else to post next week. But if you like the video, please give me a big fat thumbs up. Be sure to turn on your notification bell and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And with that being said, you guys have an amazing day and I'll see you next time.